I can play music for the baby in any room.
Can you play Ride the Lightning by Metallica?
What is up, everyone? DJ Anubis.
And DJ Neko.
Here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast with episode 4 of the Cultureverse Mindset, where we talk about pop culture, sometimes some funny things, sometimes some sad things, and sometimes some bad things.
And sometimes some cute things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have any cute things planned for today, though.
Not really. A lot of it's like there's a couple stories about when band members left certain bands, so we'll have a couple of videos about that, which would be interesting. Then there's like something with Danielle Harris and Jamie Lee Curtis, like a feud they used to have. I've always been kind of putting off watching this video for that because I'm always curious about what that was about.
Okay.
But we're going to start with a video where it was released a day or so ago by Asmongold. He had another video I was going to do before, but because we had to keep putting this off just because we got busy.
Yeah,
So,
mommy works. Sorry.
Yeah. So this basically is now just Asmon. He just came back recently from taking 2 weeks off. His father passed away. So he initially put out a video saying that he was going to take some time off to deal with that and deal with the funeral and all that stuff. But
2 weeks isn't enough. I took 2 weeks, and it's, when my dad passed, I took 2 weeks. I stayed with my mom for a good chunk of that time. It's not enough time. You're expected to figure all these things out and then go back to normal. And
well, I think part of it is like for him, because he's always been, attached to streaming and, gaming and all that stuff. But, his mom was a big part of his life. Like I didn't know him when mom was still alive, but she apparently played World of Warcraft too. I don't know how much or, and all that, but he used to talk about it where she'd be involved with the game. But his dad, even though he wasn't involved with the gaming, he would always be calling in, and Asmon would put him on the air and
put him on speaker.
Yeah, because his dad would listen to his show. It's like his dad was very much interested in his topics.
And just supportive, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so, now this is sort of cathartic for Asmon. When he gets online, he can be with his followers and fans, and they can give him the support and listen to what he says. And he's pretty much kind of back into the swing of things. He's already talking about the Emma Watson, J.K. Rowling thing. And
oh, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing we should talk about too.
Yeah. So that's also stuff that we'd probably do on global, a little bit more serious in nature. But we'll say that Emma's taking a beating, man. There's a lot of videos out there right now there, because I don't know if you saw the X post that JK made, but she just went scorched earth and destroyed.
I haven't seen anything recent, but like,
yeah,
she said something to the fact where she was saying, like, you know, just because you portrayed these characters that I created does not give you like authority over being the voice of Harry Potter or Hermione Granger or the.
Yeah, one of the biggest ones that I remember her saying was, you know, I wasn't a millionaire at age 14. I was in poverty. I was SA'd. I was, you know, in abuse home, like the shelter.
She was like on welfare when she wrote Harry Potter.
Right. So she went really after her because, you know, this is Emma doing an interview recently where, you know, Emma's kind of trying to reflect and say, like, you know, I still love JK. She did a lot for me, but, you know, we can still have differences of opinion. But the thing that bothers JK is during that time when it was popular to bash on JK, which is something that's not happening anymore, Danielle, Rupert, and Emma were pretty much throwing her under the bus. They were really coming after JK, and so that really hurt.
I'm trying to think. I was still traveling like a lot. I was still going back and forth to Taiwan. So I sat and I binged on one of my Taiwan trips, either going out or coming home. It was like, what is it? The Trial of J.K. Rowling or the Crucifixion. It was a podcast. It was really well done. And listening to like her side of the story was very interesting. Like, because it does seem unfair that they were taking a lot of what she was saying and twisting it.
Yeah, no, JK has been very vocal about supporting trans people, but she does not believe they are women. Like, she believes there is there should be a divide on how far that goes. So she will support their rights. She will support them getting transitioned, but in terms of being in women's bathrooms or in prisons, like, she has a big problem with that.
And a lot of what JK was saying was she feels it takes away from, you know, biological women.
Yes. Yeah, and she's right.
And so it was very interesting to hear her side of the story because it was done very, very well. And it was not like a lot of the stuff on the opposite side was very inflammatory and it was just very accusatory.
Yeah.
And you get like little snippets of like, this is why I'm burning all my Harry Potter books. And, you know, I hate J.K. Rowling. And then when you listen to the podcast, it was very interesting. So if you have not listened to it yet, DJ Anubis, look for it. I might still have it downloaded on my phone. It's free. Like, if you go into like any podcast app, you can find.
I mean, I've been following her on X for a little while. I mean, I've had some issues with her in the past, but, you know, the thing is, like, it is weird that, because JK is a feminist, she's very much for women's rights. She's very much in line with Emma in terms of like certain things, but that one issue is what really has split them apart. But the thing was, JK was never throwing them under the bus. She wasn't like attacking them.
No, she wasn't. She was just speaking from her own personal views.
So,
and I think, honestly, like, everything that I'm just going to be, I have no opinion on this. So I'm just saying, from listening to both things, like, it was very calm and respectful. And then you see the other side with everybody who's losing their mind over JK. It's like, again, inflammatory, extreme. People are losing their mind. And JK is just like telling her side of the story and like, you know, responding to like, well, can you respond to this tweet? Can you respond to this accusation? And she's like, yes, I can. So I don't know, for what it's worth. I'm not on, I just was listening to it because it sounded interesting and someone had mentioned that it was a very interesting podcast. Truthfully, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so I'm not going to burn my Harry Potter books. I don't have any of them.
Right. Yeah, you could care less. You have no dog in the fight, really.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Like, I'm not team JK or team Danielle or team Emma. I'm literally was just interested on her side because it was a episode podcast where they put a lot of work into it, and somebody, I guess another podcast, because you know how I get with podcasts, especially when I was traveling, like someone had mentioned I think it was what's her face, Amala, said to listen to.
Well, she's been talking about it too. So, but the fire thing was, and before we get into the Aslan videos, that that people have been joking. It's gone all the way up into mainstream media, this whole thing, obviously, but they're like, yeah, it probably wasn't wise of Emma to try to poke someone who's a very good writer, because the way that she wrote her expos, like, just annihilated everything, and did it in a very classy way. It was no like vulgar language or nothing, just speaking her mind like JK does.
Well, this is a little tease because we're going to be doing what's the other one that we
Global.
do? Global. Oh my god. We're probably going to do a global in a couple of days. Yeah. So maybe not tomorrow night.
Saturday, maybe.
Well, no, Saturday we're double booked. I have Walter and you have.
Oh, that's right.
And then maybe Sunday.
Maybe we'll see how it goes.
I think
Sunday's usually football day too, so we'll see how it is. But we can watch while we talk.
Yeah, I need to be on more. I have not been a good.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, it's I've been working a lot, and I have not.
Which is a good point she makes. So Saturday she's joining Jedi for an all-girl like kaiju discussion.
Just the girls in Jedi.
The girls' point of view about being a kaiju fan.
I don't even I want to reach out to Jedi and be like, do you have notes or like anything for me to? Because I don't know what to say.
It's all about your experience, like how you became a fan, like just how you feel about it. You're a big Mothra fan, so just that's all. And he'll probably have questions, so then you can just answer them the best you can. But here's Asman. He's catching everybody up on his time away, and we'll just kind of go through it. None of these videos are super long, which is good, but
cool.
Seen the video, right? And so like I'm not going to go through this, but like long story short is that my dad passed away. He did. And this happened a little bit over 2 weeks ago at this point. And I was very busy dealing with that. It turns out like dying is really complicated. Oh my God, there's so much paperwork with it. Holy fuck. And so I've had to deal with that a lot. And yeah, ripped out. I know it's fucking horrible. And it's been like, I feel like a lot of it hasn't even really set in like a big case. It hasn't really affected me. And like really, I like yesterday I went into his house.
I swear to God, I remember like, because I was really, really helping my mom, and I was like, I don't know if there's a day that has gone by since my dad died that like I was helping my mom out or dealing with something, and I always would say, my dad passed away. Can you guide us to how to get this paperwork to, transfer funds or for the bank and my mom was not dealing with any of it. And she also, that's right when she was in the hospital for having the flu, remember? So she was really sick, and that I actually ended up taking extended time off. Like I took the time off for the funeral. I was back at work, and I was traveling back and forth between Baltimore a couple of times between then. And it was just so, I hear you. It's for months. Like you just took my mom to the DMV to do I think that's like the last thing.
And they were out there in October of last year. So it's been, so that's when they kind of arrived into here, but she's just now just now got her stuff sorted. And
got her license sorted, got the title of her vehicle out of my dad's name and into her name. I don't know how many things like we would call. Go ahead.
Honestly, I just cried, right? And I'll just say it. And first time I really have in quite a while. And let me make sure I turn that down. I think it's a little bit loud. And it was the first time I had ever since like the first couple of days. And so it was just really, It's been really rough. And so my dad passed away, and basically he, you know, it was one of those situations where he just decided pretty much, I mean, he had pancreatic cancer. He had had pneumonia 6 times. I'm pretty sure he just decided, man, it's time to clock the fuck out, right? Like, I'm done with this shit. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And that's exactly what he did. And, you know, they told me there really wasn't that high of a probability of, you know, things were good, right? And then, like, I'm talking to 2 of the doctors there. They're telling me it's not a matter of if, but when he's coming out of the hospital. I said, okay, great. And then the next day they're calling me as I'm driving over there, telling me that he's probably not going to come out of the hospital. And so that was very, very unpleasant situation. And it was awful, to be honest with you. So that basically is what happened. And then obviously, you know, I was there with them the whole way, all the way through up until the very end, which was very unpleasant, but I'm glad that I did it. And that's kind of what happened. Roller coaster? Yeah, definitely a roller coaster. You end up doing hospice? I did. And I, you know, like it was as comfortable because like he and I had obviously had conversations about this, you know, in the past, and, you know, because he's 78. And so, like, because of that, I mean, it was very obvious that, like, you know, this could happen at any time. And so
like, one thing with him, like, you know, he said his dad had pancreatic cancer, and they were already talking about him being sick and making plans. It was completely out of the blue for my dad.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they don't call it the Widowmaker for no reason.
Exactly. And they didn't have half of their shit together. It's actually kind of funny because, you know, my mom went and had all that estate planning done to make sure she had all the I's dotted and T's crossed for, you know, when she goes. So it's very easy for my sister and I to deal with everything. Like, it's in black and white. The girls own the house. This is, you know, like, everything goes to them, split in half. Like, it's very, very clear. I was getting something out of the garage the other night, and it was a box that said fall on it. So she thought it was fall decorations, but inside that box was their old wills.
Oh.
But they had never, like, they did them, but they had never, like, filed them with the state or the proper people. So I'm like, oh, well, don't need that anymore.
Yeah.
So, but it was just interesting. It's so hard. Like, you know, you're never going to be prepared, even if somebody is really sick, for them to go away.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, listen, this is what you're going to do. This is what I want. This is how I want it done. And that's how, you know, like, this is the decision making I want you to do. I executed that decision making, and that's what I did. And so,
you can tell,
you know,
it's
it's weird, right? Because I've lost both my parents now, and I'm kind of just here, you know, I'm just here. I'm an only child, right? And so I'm just kind of here, and it's given me a lot of time to think, and it's given me a lot of time to just kind of, you know, I don't know. I mean, like,
this is why I think, like, a lot of this for him is cathartic. I mean, Asmon has always been very much, and some of it's probably shtick. You know, he was talking later today about something else, one of his other topics, and he's like, I think he was talking between him and critical drinker, and he's like, well, yeah, I'm kind of like critical drinker, but I'm actually right. And so you know, that's just how Asmon is. He's very arrogant, but sometimes I think he's just being silly about it. But you know, I think he does look at his following as like a family of sorts.
Well,
like
he just said, like, he's an only child. Both his parents are gone. He doesn't have, I guess, a lot of extended family that he feels comfortable with having help, like, with his dad or like.
Same with me a little bit. I mean, I have some friends outside of the web sphere, but most of them are all in here. It's like people I've met across, you know, the ocean and everything else. So I kind of get it, you know, because that's where I do a lot of my chatting with people online. And that's, you know, for all the negative things that the web can bring to the world, there's a lot of great things that it can do. And this is kind of like one of these situations, you know?
Yeah, we've met so many people, Yeah, I feel for him. I am actually really fortunate with my family, even though, I am uber protective of my mother and I'm up her ass. And she was very, like, when I stopped by today, she's like, I didn't know you were coming over. She was really happy to see me. But my dad's death did not, like, divide us. Do you see how often, like, the kids are there to see grandma?
Everybody kind of just
supportive,
got together and been around. We
even like my
rallied around your mom.
My Aunt Janet, she's like, oh yeah, Aunt Janet stopped by the other day. That's helpful. Like, even I need to tell my Aunt Janet that I was like, you're being great. You're being a great friend to my mom just by saying hi.
Yeah.
I don't need like help.
She's doing pretty good. Like, I haven't, I probably should go over and just say hi every once in a while, which I do, but she's been getting around so good that, like, I feel confident that she's going to be okay. Like, I don't have to worry about her on any, major level.
Oh, she was like, oh, today she was talking about you. She's like, oh, maybe I'll get Scott some spray cheese when he comes over so he can make cheese and crackers. And I know he likes that spray cheese. She always puts it in your stocking.
And this is something I really didn't kind of talk about a lot in my video, is that ever since I was like, I would say like 23, but really 15, like in 2005, somewhere around there, my family, like me and my mom and my dad, got in a really bad accident, and my mom like broke her wrist, and I think they said that she had like a heart attack while they were doing an operation on her or something like that, and she was like never the same after this operation. And so ever since then, I had been having to like kind of take care of her and help her, etc. Then as I got into my early 20s, like, 21, 22, 23, especially 23, things just kind of deteriorated and they got worse. And so at that point, like, I couldn't really move out. I couldn't, go and, pursue anything that I wanted to do because my mom didn't have anybody else. She was here in Austin, Texas, all her family's in Florida. And so, like, I mean, at that point, I didn't really have like funds to help her any other way. And so I had to take care of her. And so I had put off a lot of, things that I think that you would do. Like, I did a lot. Like, I don't want anybody to get an idea that, like, growing up, like, things were bad. I mean, like, things were actually very good in a lot of cases, but there's always negative aspects to it, right? And one of them was that, like, for me, I ended up having to take care of her from about, I would say, like, on a soft level from 15, but like really seriously from like 23 to like 31. Whenever she passed away, I was 31 then. And so then there was like a year and a half, and that was like the Elden Ring, Lost Ark, Johnny Depp saga of my stream, where my dad was healthy, and also my stream was I was streaming all the time, and I didn't have anything I had to deal with, right? And so then fast forward to like maybe 6.
Yeah. Because that was the thing. Like, when the Johnny Depp thing happened, I just started watching a lot of LawTube and stuff, and that's when I saw him, and he was talking about it a lot, and I agreed with a lot of his points of view on that. But then that's also when I found out he did a lot of World of Warcraft at the time.
And you love World of Warcraft? I remember that when that Johnny Depp thing happened, I was sailing, and I was working with Martin, the Scottish guy that I love working with, and he and I were like, on our downtime, we're like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, did you read this? And he's like, uh-huh. I was like, poop in the bed? What?
Shit in the bed.
Oh my God.
6 months after that, my dad gets really, really sick. Like, I mean, and this is like one of the things where, like, one of the reasons why I wasn't as upset about like losing my dad now is that I thought I was going to lose him 2 years ago. Like, I was already past all 5 stages of grief at that point, because like y'all didn't see this because I never talked about it really on my stream, but like he couldn't even get up and walk to the door, right? And so like, and this was going on for like a month. It was really, 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 really fucking bad. And so at that point, obviously, like, I had to do a lot more for him, and I had to make sure I was available all the time for him. So in a way, like, ever since I was 15, but I would say really like in a more like defined way, like 20 in like early 20s, I'd say 23, 22 to now, I've spent my entire life basically being a caretaker for one or the other of them, minus about 2 years, maybe a little bit less than 2 years. And so now that they're both gone, there is a it's like a, you know, it's like you're alone and you're also free, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very weird feeling for me. Because I was thinking, I was like, when people are trying to make plans with me and stuff, and it's like, I can actually just kind of do whatever I want to do, right? I can do whatever I want to do. And it's like a bittersweet thing where it's like...
And that's the thing for him is that, you know, he did have to take care of his parents, but then now, like, you know, he's always been kind of a recluse anyway. Like when you see him and go to those gatherings with some of the OTK members and stuff, like he's kind of like a wallflower sometimes. Like he doesn't really party and all that stuff.
Is he in the OTK house? Or
No.
He's by himself.
Yeah. And that's how he likes it. Like some of the other ones share a place and rent, you know, or whatever, and share the house. But even now, he's like not even part of OTK anymore. A lot of the...
Well, you remember what happened with the one guy.
Yeah, and so that's sort of it, right? So every time one of these guys, like Asmon, whoever, gets into trouble with, you know, something they say, and like for Asmon, when it was the whole like Palestine thing, he was like, you know, I'm just bringing a lot of negative light in OTK, so I'm just going to step away. You know, and that's fine. Like he doesn't mind doing that. Like I don't think he's even representing Soundforge anymore, or whatever the gaming company that he was a part of.
I don't remember.
But you know, he's now in a predicament where he's free not to have to worry anymore about his parents because, you know, they've passed, but he's still kind of lonely because he doesn't really know what to go and what to do.
I get that because, you know, when my mom was really, really sick and I was the main caretaker too, I was always over there and I was taking her to the doctors nonstop. But then, like, when the leukemia went into remission the first time, and then I started like working more, and then I went back to sailing, I kind of missed being at her house every day, like helping her and taking care of her. But I was also happy, obviously, that she's in remission and she wanted to get back to work and she wanted to get back to life. So I was happy for her.
Yeah.
So you kind of like go through, and I've said the same thing with you, like, because as he said, like, I have also gone through all of the stages of grief.
But you did it a couple of times. Mm-hmm. First time when your mom was in the hospital.
And when she was in that coma.
And then, of course, you know, with your dad, like you always, you know, I can't say it.
What are you trying to say? Compartmentalize?
Yes, thank you. So basically, that's how you do it. Like you take a moment to make sure your ducks are in order, you know, as far as like what needs to be done and dealt with, you know, whether it's finances or arrangements or whatever. And then you didn't even grieve your dad till maybe 2 months later, because I remember you were just up one night and just so emotional. It was like you were finally just letting everything out. So that's how you kind of deal with it, which is really an amazing thing for you, because me, you know, I'm not saying so much with my own parents, but like just with you, like if I lost you, like there's no way I can do that. I can't just, I'd be like a mess for like weeks. And I'm like the opposite. Like I have to go through all that before I can even pick myself up.
Well, that's kind of, I mean, think about how my mom was, right?
Right.
And then on top of that, getting the flu so bad that she had to be hospitalized, with her being immunocompromised from the leukemia and everything. Even though she's in remission, she's still very immunocompromised. And then just, you know, the snowball effect of like, okay, well, she was great. She was driving around on her own. She was doing all this stuff, and now she can barely walk to the front door, and we have to figure out what's going on. And it's taken since like February until last month, September, for her to be as I told you this week. She didn't even call you. She didn't even tell you. She drove herself to get herself a manicure.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, it is 5 minutes up the street, and that is not a long drive, but she felt confident and she was happy to go up there. And she's like, you should have seen all the ladies having a glass of wine. And it's also proving, because I think you were right. Like, my mother, being as sick as she's been for the last 5 years, and then she was sick, like from the flu right after my dad passed away. I think you were right. Like, she was going crazy, spending all the money and just doing all this stuff. And I think she thought she was going to die too. Or she was just like, I don't care if I die.
Well, not just that, but we've seen it before. You and I watched those hoarding shows, and people deal with grief in different ways. And I think
she just wanted to entertain herself.
Right. And that's the thing too, because she's been ill, in the past, like, you go stir crazy. You don't want to be at home. And that's the thing I can admire about your mom, because she's like, I don't like, she did probably go through that in her mind about wanting to go away. But she's also said publicly to me that she's just not going to sit there and rot away. She wants to live. Like, she wants to go do things. And so I think now that she's able to kind of get around,
now
she's
she
happier.
Feels good, and she's a little happier,
right.
And like, they figured out what's going on with her breathing and all. I mean, like, she wants to go to bingo next week. I said yes. There's going to be trivia night at the clubhouse. Hazel, come here. You want to be on camera?
Well, let's go into our next
video.
Now, the next two are basically dealing with members that left bands, and we didn't really know exactly why. But the first one, we're going to watch a little video from Jason Newsted when he left Metallica. And I don't really know why he did. I just remember him leaving, and then of course they were trying to find a replacement. But I think part of the reason was because they felt Jason wanted to do side projects, but Metallica wanted him to kind of concentrate on the band, like Lars being Lars and all that.
Lars is a control freak. We know that.
So we'll see what Jason says here about this.
He said, I think that this is really fucking lame and weak that we cannot get together, us.
Always very straight with anybody that's ever worked with me, any advertising, even for the flyers for this show right here. You can't write Metallica. You don't fucking write Metallica on anything ever, okay?
Okay.
This is how Metallica does it in the studio. James and Lars get tapes. You put your riffs on, your ideas on tape. They all get put in the pile, like you've heard a million times. And then those guys pull out and they take an idea, and try to build it into a blossom of some kind with our help once they've got the seed going. So I made up a couple of riff tapes with half-done songs. So I didn't know yet about full, or at least half-realized ideas to give them first chorus, middle eight, or something like that. Even though Metallica songs were never really like first chorus, middle eight type stuff, still just that general idea of song arrangement and composition would not have been here yet to be able to share with them. All I could do was give them an idea to riff that would become something else later. That's what I remember. I was still figuring out my role in the band, and I think we've talked about that a couple times before in our time. What my role was in all of that integration, like, where do I fit as the new guy in this? No matter what, you're always going to be earning your way. No matter what, dude. The shoes will never be filled.
And they still do that now, even with Robert Trujillo. Like, they told him when he came in that you're going to be a part of the band, but you have to know that Lars and James are going to be the main songwriters. They handle most of the work, and Robert just contributes. And that's sort of the running joke now when they think about Injustice for All. When Jason first joined.
Oh, that's when he joined.
Yeah,
okay.
that was after a year after Cliff died, and so they took him from Flotsam at the time, and so he gets in there, but probably a lot of that stuff was already written by Cliff, before Jason even got in there. So he's coming in and doing stuff, but he didn't have much say. And plus, remember that the joke or the whole thing about that album is how much Lars pumped up the drums compared to the bass. And so, that's the thing, is like every time you hear about Metallica and like the issues with some of the other members that have been there, it's always about like how there's this butting of heads between Lars and James are kind of like the same being almost. Like we saw that comic joke years ago.
Oh God, yeah.
Beer, good, you know, and those two have always gotten along, but then it's like everyone else, like even Kirk doesn't run into problems, but Kirk just kind of like
he stands back.
he's like the band Cook. He just sits there and takes it and doesn't say anything. But the bassist seems to be the one that gets all the shit on. It's like Murderface, you know. Nobody respects Murderface, and so that's sort of what's happening with Metallica.
I feel like I'm the bassist of my job sometimes, so I understand.
Bro, you just got to be yourself. Pay attention and just be back here, bro. Be back here and be ready to turn it up when they want you to turn it up. That's it.
Early in the morning, got the paper, open it up. There's that blurb. Bassist Cliff Burton killed in a bus accident in Sweden. I mean, they were our heroes. They were what we aspired to be, absolutely aspired to be. I remember had it been mid-October of '86, we had a gig at one of the bigger, newer places, and we all wore black armbands. And about 10 days later, Michael calls. They're going to do it. Do you think you could do this? Are you interested in doing this? I think you should do it. I think you're their man. I remember that there was one guy, about the 9th or 11th guy, he'd flown from Carolina or something, all the way, coast to coast, all the way. And he comes walking in the room. Everybody had to make the same entrance. You're playing out of Cliff's blown amplifiers. There's one speaker working out of 6. And it just goes, right, the whole time. And if you chose to play his bass, it's sitting there. If you didn't bring your own or whatever, that kind of thing. And there's everything else. And there's dude behind the drum. There's a Metallica logo. There's the Explorer hanging over James there. You know what I mean? It's just like, holy fuck. One guy walks in, and he's got, he's got the thing, and kind of like almost a Barry Gibb vibe, and 2-color hair, like blonde and then different color hair, and boots outside of his pants with the fringe.
Oh my God.
And
I love
he
it.
walks in, and James is kind of coming out, and he just goes like, next, like that. Dude did not even get to plug in. He flew from fucking Carolina. He didn't even get to plug in. Didn't get to play one note. Back around, out the door, next guy comes in. Oh, and I'm going, holy shit. And I still got an hour before I'm going in there.
Well, that's the thing, because
We've always heard that James is kind of like a.
well, it's also about image. I mean, Motley Crue, we saw The Dirt, that show, the movie they made on Netflix a while back, that their process of going through, like, you have to have a look. Like, they almost didn't even want Vince. They wanted the dark hair.
Yeah, they didn't like the blonde.
But for Metallica, at one point during this, Les Claypool was going to audition for them, or what they wanted Les, but he didn't really have the look. So Primus, being as big as they are, you think about Les and how great he is on bass, and how
he's legendary,
right? So, but he doesn't have the look that they wanted, especially at that time, being a thrash band.
And I feel like the 80s was a lot about image in bands.
Oh, it still is.
I mean, it is now, but
I mean, now you can get away more being short-haired and a metalhead than you could probably back then.
But think about back then, about like how much your music choices identified you as a person, right? Like, you were a metalhead, like you and me. I don't even know what I was. I think I was kind of the ska alternative chick, but like I listened to everything. But it's like in that time period, more so than now, if you would try to make new friends, or it's like the first day of school and maybe your friends are not eating lunch at the same time as you, and you're going to sit down with a bunch of people that are maybe in your class, and you're like, what kind of music do you listen? That's like the first question you used to ask people, is like, what kind of music do you listen to? Because that was an image. That was exactly what you identified with.
Yep.
So finally I get in there, and I've got my awesome state. Okay. James tells me that basically he couldn't be in a band with me if I took this other project to this level. And after 15 years of working together and going buses and You know the stories, man. There was no way that this thing that I was doing could affect the monster of Metallica. I just don't see how it could. And so in saying things like that, I couldn't accept that kind of
negativity.
Limited acceptance.
So
At that time, the
talk to us about
manager
that.
suggested
What was
that
the other band that he was in that they were so concerned about?
Oh no! So he was trying. Like I said, he was trying to do some side bands. He was exploring his solo stuff. This is one thing I've always encouraged with artists, that like this was always my biggest problem with Metallica, is that they didn't just go explore doing rock and still doing Metallica's thrash. They just tried to incorporate all into the band. But Jason, he was very progressive minded in the sense that he wanted to kind of do different things. So he had like I forget the name of the band's like MS something. Then he also played a little bit with Voivod a little bit later on, and he even filled in on Helmet for a little bit.
Oh, cool.
So he wanted to kind of just touch waters and do his own like little side projects, but the band felt like
He should 100% be
right.
Metallica focused.
Yeah, and that's just the arrogance of the band, like not allowing any of their members to explore
I think I
outside
remember
of
this scene like in something where they brought in
how to make a monster.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they were doing the whole Dave Mustaine thing too.
we have a psychotherapist come in, a man that meets with pro ball teams, you know, big ego, big dollar guys that can't get along but have to make some kind of entity flow so everybody else and everybody can make the money. I actually said, I think, that this is really fucking lame and weak, that we cannot get together, us. Look, the biggest heavy band of all time, and the things we've been through and decisions we've made about squillions of dollars and squillions of people.
Squillions.
I mean, and this, we can't get over this.
I said, I'm Phil Toll, and I've been asked by your managers to come here and talk to you guys. And he's got his Super Bowl ring on. And I said, what's your status? What's your title? So I help pro sports teams, and I help big organizations like this get along so they can carry on with their
Oh my god,
whatever the work is.
Remember in Metalocalypse when they did that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
But it's probably them mocking.
I'm sure it was. They brought in, what was his name? Barry?
Yeah. With the red eyes.
And then you get a banana sticker.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you. You don't know me. You don't know our band. You haven't been through what we've been through. I'm really glad that they brought you here. Get the out of this room. I want to take a year off for everybody to get their together. And I think that it was at a time when James had he missed his son's first birthday.
Oh yeah,
You know, different kind of thing. I mean, all just different things, just different things that people are getting divorces for the first time, having their first babies. We'd been on the locomotive going full bore, like the freaking furnace stoked all the way for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like this, not like this or like that, like this.
Yeah, totally.
And nothing coming before the band. Everything like last minute stuff, things you've been planned with your family for months to go do something. Last minute, to say on the day.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you got to go do this video for this thing, VH1, blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
Ends up, you go there, you wait around for 6 hours, you go and play for 5 minutes, they put 2 minutes of it on the TV, and then go back home, but you missed the whole family thing. And went full bore, all the tours that everybody knows about, all the landmark things that.
So it sounds like the whole thing was because of him wanting to explore outside of Metallica, which was pretty much what was the rumor. Just like the band wanted him to dedicate all his extra time and effort to Metallica and nothing else. But it's like, I can almost see it from Jason's standpoint, where when you're not really the main writer like Lars and James are, because the way he described it, how they would basically create the structure, and then you would just kind of come in and fill in. You're not really a main contributor, because with a band that has main contributors is, say you have 10 songs on your record. Well, let's say James and Lars write like 6 of them. Then Kirk and Jason might write, 2 of the other 4. each, you know, and have their own input.
If they're lucky.
Right. So,
'Cause
but
don't you remember when we were watching those Beatle documentaries and they were talking about like George Harrison was like the youngest and he was done. Like they had to beg him to come back to the Beatles because it was Paul McCartney and John Lennon. McCartney and John Lennon. And they were just basically, you know, using George Harrison for his talent, clearly for playing guitar, but like George Harrison, that most people don't know, as a solo artist, was the most commercially successful Beatle after the Beatles. He had ideas, he wanted to write, he wanted to do things, and Lennon and McCartney were always the writers. It'd be like Lennon, McCartney, Lennon, and then it'd be like Harrison. There'd be like one song on a Beatles album that was George Harrison's, and that was what was driving him crazy. But see, like for Jason, he didn't seem like he needed to be the center of attention.
No, and that's the thing. He probably was like, okay, no, it's cool, bro. I just want to go explore a little bit and do some stuff on my own. And they were like, no. It's like it's almost as if like once you've signed up to be with Metallica, it's like you're a slave to whatever they want. And it's like
it's the Church of Scientology.
Yeah. And so that's why they're so resented most of the time because of how they treat people. I'm not saying Dave Mustaine was an angel at the time that he was in the band because he had alcohol problems and all that, but it's easy to see why Dave held such a grudge because like these guys are dicks. you know? But
no, 100%.
I wanted to do another one that was like this, but we're running out of time because I want to talk about Danielle and Jamie Lee Curtis because I have not heard anything about this one. So I'll do the other video on the next episode that we do. But so apparently Danielle Harris and Jamie Lee have a feud that's gone back a while regarding the Halloween franchise and stuff. So I want to see like what this is all about. I obviously like both of them, but I'm a bigger Danielle Harris fan than I am Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, right now Jamie Lee Curtis is kind of been a little insufferable, I think.
Yes.
Like the way she's been portraying things, the way she's been acting.
Yeah, she's definitely gone off the deep end, but that's just on her personal time.
I don't know her. I don't know anything about her. All I know is she seems a little insufferable. The way that she's been acting, some of her interviews, some of the things she says.
Yeah. But let's see what the dish is, as they say.
Talks from the crypt.
When you were talking about your Jamie Lee Curtis story on your podcast, I mean, man, we've all been invited to an event before where you show up and the people there are acting like, who the fuck are you? And you're just I'm here as a guest.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of like rushing you around and you already are feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then for you to encounter like one of your heroes.
I mean, but it started way before that night. You know, it was us. Like I flew myself, Malik invited me, but like I flew myself in. I was, living in Texas. I was like, this is my shot at like being on the carpet with Jamie Lee Curtis and Scout. Like this is a big fucking deal. So I'm going to do it up. And then we got our own Uber, and the fucking guy didn't have air conditioning and Scout and I are like dying in the back of the car, like dripping sweat, trying to stay cute. Like what the fuck is going on? And then the security wouldn't let us get close to where drop-offs were for guests of the carpet. So we had to get dropped off on the corner of like fucking Hollywood and Highland, walk, schlep down through the parking lot, all the way down Hollywood Boulevard to be like, who are you? Are you on the list? I'm sorry, your COVID test, there's Scout. She's like, your COVID test didn't come back yet, so you can't go. You have to redo it here and you have to wait an hour. And she was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then when we got on, nobody cared. But I hadn't been to a premiere since 2009.
When you say nobody cared, like
none of the photographers cared that we were there. None of the press knew who we were. Nobody gave two shits about us being there. Nobody.
So from
the fans, that were in the bleachers that were being, sanctioned off from everybody else, were like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But everybody there, any interview, anything we wanted to, it was like they couldn't be bothered with us.
Right.
And as soon as Jamie was approaching, everybody get the fuck off of the carpet and out of the way.
I hate that.
And I was like, well, here goes my shot at like.
Because now they're just doing it up for her. They're not even really authentic.
Well, they were also doing it up for Instagrammers and TikTokers and all the Instagrammers, influencers. I didn't know who anybody was. Like the chick that rolled up in a white dress with fake bloodstains got more interviews and more pictures taken than Scout and I did.
The TikTok dancing Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember when that picture first came out, you guys all together.
Yeah.
Before the story came out. And it went viral as fuck on Twitter.
And I knew it would, which is why I was like, we need to take a picture together.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, please, God, someone make this happen.
Yeah.
And we sort of pushed ourselves to like, can you please? And the photographer was really nice. And I was like, could you please do this? And he was like, absolutely. He knew who Scout and I were and who, Heather and, oh my God, who else was with us? Amanda Weiss. So it's like, this is an epic moment, but I have to make sure that we do this. So, and we did that picture after we introduced ourselves to her. But it's funny is she sent, I don't know if you heard this on our show, but she sent, one day I'll let you read her messages to me. She messaged me on Instagram.
Wow.
After her daughter apparently told her that we had talked about her on our show and how not nice she was to us. So her daughter told her, people are now talking about how you were to them and you need to reach out. So she reached out to me, but she confused us. So she wrote Scout and me, but thought I was Scout and Scout was me.
Jesus.
So Scout's like, I think this is for you. And I think yours is to me. And, and then I wrote back to her. Scout wrote her back. I wrote her back and she continued to reply to me quite a bit. And then she sent my kids a bunch of books and autographed all of them and then wrote inside them, changed some of the characters' names to Jagger and Carter. And I have a dozen books of hers now that are personalized and very specific to my children.
Yeah.
So I get it now. She was feeling overwhelmed and bombarded. And I was now on the other side of expecting to have an experience with her the way fans are with me. And she couldn't give it to me. And I was upset.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, that's the stuff that I have to be wary of making sure that I don't ever get that way. I mean, I'm not at the level.
Well,
is she talking about Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah.
Wrote the books to her?
I guess. But the thing is too, this did happen around COVID, so it would have been much harder to try to connect with people. But if you're being cleared, then that should be fine. But at the same time, again, you mentioned it, recently, Jamie Lee has not really been the most pleasant person. In fact, I'm still pissed about what happened in 2023, or maybe it was 2022, when Wakanda, the second Black Panther movie came out, and I thought that Angela Bassett should have won the Oscar that year. Instead, it was Jamie Lee and Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
And so I was just really disappointed because of the way that that was handled. Because I really didn't think that Everything Everywhere at Once was as good as Wakanda.
No, I have yet to finish the movie. I know that sounds terrible, but I get to a point and it gets more and more ridiculous.
But this is the other thing too, is that, Danielle's been such a big part of the Halloween franchise, even because she even appeared in cameos, or not really so much. She had a role in Rob Zombie's version and both his movies. So she not only was in the original 4 and 5, but she was in Zombies 1 and 2. So she's been a big factor in that. So I would have thought that anybody who was running that event.
I know, but Jamie Lee Curtis is a huge movie star.
But I would have been like, Jamie, okay, we got you. But I have Danielle Harris and Scout Taylor Johnson that want to meet you and talk to you and say hi. Let's just do that real quick, and then we can go and do everything else. But no one is forward thinking. Nobody thinks about this stuff. And it's because, Danielle and other people, because Danielle was very young when she did 4 and 5. So it's she probably grew up loving Jamie Lee Curtis and all that stuff. So I feel bad, but if Jamie Lee made it right, then great. But I just think it is kind of fucked up.
She is, not that it's any excuse, but I don't think I would ever do that anyway.
Yeah, but that's subjective, because I've met so many people where the Jamie Lloyd character means more to them than Lori.
I don't think she knows.
Yeah.
Her apology to me was I'm sorry that I didn't know what your relationship within these characters was.
Mm.
Yeah, and see, that's the other thing too, because this reminds me a lot, and this is why I kind of get annoyed with Jamie Lee Curtis, because Jamie Lee, even though she's been such a huge part of the franchise, even in the later years, I don't think she really cares. I think it's more of a paycheck for her than anything. I don't think she really cares about the character all that much. She cares about the legacy of Laurie Strode, but I don't think she cares about the character because Danielle, dude, she is like a horror icon far more than Jamie Lee. Jamie Lee went to do a lot of different films outside of horror.
Like she is a movie star.
Right. But Danielle is like, she lives and breathes horror films.
Yes, I hear you. I'm not surprised that a movie star would snub a B-lister.
But it reminded me of, and I'm drawing a blank because I had a great comparison to it. Obviously she didn't know who Danielle was. And I guess it's sort of like not doing your research of the franchise that you're actually representing.
She is at that level of movie star. That's what you have to understand.
I don't care. Let me hate.
I'm
on
not
her.
telling you don't hate. I'm telling you she doesn't care.
No, she doesn't care.
That's what this boils down to. She doesn't care. So she didn't do it. You're right. No research. She doesn't care. So, I mean, if this was a thing for the Halloween movies and it was like a big, premiere or whatever, she is just showing up because she is a big movie star and she is center of the universe. That's
if I was doing that event, Jamie Lee wouldn't be there.
You can't do that though.
I could do that. There's plenty of stars within that franchise.
Yeah, but Jamie Lee was in the movie that they were premiering.
I'd be like, I must have lost her invitation. Sorry.
And I kept saying it has nothing to do with my storyline being of your storyline. It was, she said something when she got up before the movie premiere that resonated with me. And she said, and I quote, "There are two things that I will leave behind as my legacy, Halloween and my children." And I thought, oh, fuck, that's me. Like, that's what I'm going to leave behind. My legacy in the Halloween franchise and my children.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to just tell her that. And she just would have no. So I really was like, it really was about sharing this. Not like you should know who I am. I played your daughter. Like, who gives a shit? But it was like, this is something that you and I have similarly. And it means a lot to me. And you struck a chord. And I just want you to know that I appreciate that. And it just wasn't heard. So it was a little, and then I got like pictures of her. She just became a little kooky and funny. And like, it was just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
How she was just then messaging afterwards. And I was like, okay, she's just kind of quirky like that.
Yeah.
So I don't hold anything, any resentment or whatever. She doesn't know me. Who cares?
I'm not surprised by any of this at all. Really. Again, Jamie Lee Curtis is a movie star. Danielle Harris is a Halloween actress. That's why Jamie Lee Curtis to act the way she did. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm just saying that's totally why, like, she has no idea. If Jamie Lee Curtis isn't in the movie, she's not going to pay attention to it. I mean,
that's terrible. And she's not the only one guilty of that, though.
Oh, I know. But that's like when you're at that level and you're making that kind of money and you've got those kind of contracts and stuff.
And maybe that's just the thing, right? Because like this is why I enjoy talking with people like Angel Bradford or Lindsay Crane, because they just have a passion about these types of films that I like.
Yeah, I know.
And Jamie was very instrumental in that very first Halloween, or even the very first few Halloween films. I didn't like the last three that Carpenter did. I thought they sucked, but those first ones obviously were really good. So, I mean, obviously she'll always have she's kind of like Metallica in the early years. Like she's good in the early years, just shitty in the later years. So basically that's how I look at it with that. But yeah, so I thought it was interesting. I thought there'd be a little bit more of some.
You thought there was more beef?
Yeah, I thought there was a little bit more beef, but I guess there's not, so that's okay. Coming up on the channel tomorrow night, I'm trying to get Jake and Omniblast to sit down and do a review for Alien Earth series that's been on, but I haven't heard from Omniblast yet. I have to try to hit her up to see if
I have not watched it, so I can't help you.
It's very
I watch
controversial.
it a little bit. Like you'll be watching it, and I'll just kind of be like, yeah, whatever. And
Right.
like the dog, you know, like I just saw a couple of things, and I'm like,
Yeah.
meh.
But tomorrow also at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'll be in Kevin Lambert's channel. We're going to be doing another episode of Fear the Wolf for this month. It's all about werewolf films, and we'll be reviewing Silver Bullet and Bad Moon with a panel guest. And then Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Silver Screen Savants returns. We're still continuing on with the horror thing with me and Olvin, doing Rawhead Rex.
I've never seen that.
Probably gonna watch it tonight if I can find it. Shouldn't be hard. It's usually just an 80s movie, so.
And then I'm going to be on Jedi's.
Yeah, that's what time? 3 p.m.
I think it's 6
or 6.
We have not nailed down the details. I agreed, and I need to message Mr. Jedi and
Yeah,
get
I'm gonna try to pull up the calendar real quick.
I think it's at 6.
Yeah, it says Sisterhood of the Kaiju, 6 o'clock.
Oh, so you have the special calendar of.
Well, there's 2. I have my own, and then I have the one that I created for the group, for the collaborators, and they can keep track of that online so they can insert their shows when they're available. And
So I'm on the Sisterhood of the Collaborators.
Sisterhood of the Kaiju.
Oh, the Kaiju, okay.
And I don't know if he's got it listed down who's on there. I know he's trying to get Omni Blast and trying to get Lady Fabula in them, but I don't know how many he's going to get. He has some other people I don't know. Probably going to be on there, so that's kind of cool. So I'll be trying to watch some of that before I have to jump on. I'll just have to.
Can you put James Bond back before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like my white door.
I'll work on it tomorrow.
I want Tiffany Dolphin back.
Tiffany Dolphin. Tiffany Dolphin.
You guys have to understand that's just a Timothy Dalton joke.
It wasn't intentional, but it just came out that way. I fuck up so many words.
He's like, I'll put Tiffany Dolphin back up, and I was like, can somebody do an AI of Tiffany Dolphin for me?
See, now you got me, because I can do shit like that.
Are you doing it right now?
I just want to see if it'll come up with anything. I guess, because I know.
Share it.
Yeah, if I can find, where is it?
But like Tiffany, Dolphin, James Bond. So maybe it'd be like a dolphin in a James Bond suit, but then with a wig.
That's probably what they're going to end up doing, right? That's just like, if you put it in there, they're going to be like, yeah, this is what it's going to turn out to be. All right, so. I guess I could have done it. Well, now I need pictures to do that. So what it did was it gave me a dolphin and a girl in a bikini. That's all it did.
That's it? No, that's not what I want.
But let me try this, because I'll do both.
I want Tiffany Dolphin
So
as
if I do,
James Bond.
Yeah. No, it still don't know what the fuck to do with it. Yeah.
In my brain, I'm thinking of a dolphin wearing a suit, but with a long blonde wig.
So now it gave me a dude, a chick, and dolphins in the background.
Oh my God, you gotta let me play with the AI.
Well, you can search free AI generators and stuff.
No, you have a paid AI you gotta let me use.
Well, I'm not paying for Filmora anymore. But
I'm paying for something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll be in touch with anything in the future. Obviously, Neko wants to do more stuff. We'll be doing global. Maybe we'll do global on Sunday just because we can still kind of do that and watch TV a little bit. But we do have some cool drama stuff to talk about.
We need to be drama about.
Yeah,
like,
I've been saving some stuff that I want to talk about. So definitely in the works there. But please like and subscribe to the Middle Tavern Radio podcast. Give us your opinions on the topics we discussed today. A lot of fun talking a bit about that. Thanks again for the support. And the Ghouls of Midnight. We now have a soundtrack to the show. Like I'm going to be putting this out probably every year. So I'll work on some more, and then I'll release a new soundtrack next October for the Ghouls of Midnight. I've been having fun with that. It's AI, so don't think I'm a musician or anything, but it's fun because it sounds cool. Like she's heard some of it. She didn't even know I was doing AI stuff.
I was like, who is this?
Yeah,
And
she
he's
thought it was
like,
a band.
It's me.
It's me. So blame Mr. Tony the Dead for getting me hooked on that shit, but it's fun.
He gets addicted to stuff too, like
very quickly. But thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it. We're almost got our watch hours there, so please watch our videos. Get those watch hours up.
if you get us up to our watch hours, I can
do super chats.
We'll do super chats, and we'll do like memberships. And if you become a member, you'll see my boobs, because members only, you can see boobs.
That's her, guys. That's not in my. That's gonna be like her OnlyFans type thing. Not me. I'm not doing that. We'll see you later. Have a good night.
No mas.
No mas.